trim on a chuck. So this is a chuck that I made the other day. I've got bat pins in the wheel, and I'm going to put the bat, the chuck still attached to the bat, I'm going to put the bat down on the wheel. So this chuck is going to allow me to trim a couple of different shapes. This one right here is a lid, and obviously I couldn't trim the lid very well sitting on its knob. So what I'll do is I'll set it on the chuck, and this chuck is still somewhat damp, and I'll basically it'll be centered right away. I can center it more either with my finger or with a trimming tool, with a needle tool, and just as I would with centering a bowl, I can make a mark and work my way towards having the piece centered. Once I've got it lined up and centered how I need it to be, I will, and I think on this one I'm just going to pick a point because it's not quite flat itself. I'm going to just give it a push down onto the wheel head, and then I can begin to trim. Because the chuck is somewhat wet, I'm able to, because I just threw it the other day, it holds on to the clay a little bit better than it would if it were completely dry. We do have some chucks in the studio, and others might have these as well, that are bisqued chucks. They've been bisque fired. And the reason for the advantage of those is that they're already made. You don't have to throw a chuck each time you need one. But the disadvantage is that since they are dry, they're porous, and they absorb the water from the wet clay that you're trying to trim, the bone or the leather hard clay that you're trying to trim, and come away from the wheel. So you have to soak those chucks before you work with them. The nice thing about a chuck like what I've made right now is, other than that I have to throw one more thing, it is really quite fast. That's all it took to make myself a lid that's going to go on to another piece.